Hello everyone and welcome back to D.D Blacksmith. Oh, well, that happened. So yes, I am back. Probably back doing regular videos. They may be shorter, however. I'll probably be doing more short tutorials on blacksmithing. That's what this place will be for. If you want to see my other stuff, perhaps like more about the fashion side of things, like I've been doing lately, as you may be aware that there's been quite a dramatic brand difference. The brand certainly has shifted in its focus. I'm mostly prominently on Twitter, so all the people who view this, who have been wondering where I've gone, I have mostly been on Twitter the past year and a half, 2 years. So, and as you can see, I did it pretty well actually. So, yes, I wanted to make a platform again where I can actually display blacksmithing in its kind of pure fashion without having to deal with the Twitter restrictions such as the video compression and all that stuff. So, yeah, here I am, and I am back, and you should expect a fairly regular tutorial video, short enough to where I could also upload it on Twitter as well. Also, thank you all for the support, all the transition, the very, loving support from my old fans and the new. I hope you guys can get along very well, because there may be a bit of a clash in terms of where you guys know me from. Some of you even know me in real life, so it might be kind of a shock, a bit of surprise to see this sudden brand appear out of nowhere. But yeah, no, once again, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy watching all the future videos. I'm just making this intro a bit longer because I wanted to reiterate some things. But yeah, from here on out I will be doing tutorial videos. If you want to ask about any blacksmithing techniques you want to see me demonstrate, any things you want me to make, things that could fit into a smaller tutorial fashion, not some big project, because I will be demonstrating the large projects on my Twitter, so please say again, you should follow that if you want to see the larger scale projects. So, oh, and also my commissions are open, so if you want to commission me, you can go on my Twitter and go to the message GMs. That's kind of how I do it. So yeah, no, back to it. So here we go, and this is, oh, I should take my rings off. Should not have rings in the workshop. Safety first. And yeah, here we go. The first part of this demonstration will be creating a taper on the end of this bar. A very short, steep taper at the very end of the bar. I'll be doing this not in the center of the anvil, because when you create a taper you don't want to hit the face of your anvil. So you should do it on the edge of the anvil there. So you get a lot of space behind the anvil to strike the thing without damaging both your hammer or the anvil. So yes. I'm going to get this heated up now and put it in a coal fire. So the metal's almost heated up now, so I also changed the angle of the camera. I thought it might be a bit nicer to see a bit closer here. So yeah, here we go. Doing the short taper on the end. Yeah, nice hot heat. There it is, the nice, short, barely the size of my hammerhead right there. Actually, it's shorter than my hammer face. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm going to use a combination of the edge and the bick just to knock that very, very tip of the taper over on itself. You do it in the direction away from the taper edge. Now here we go. And you drag the tip away and you begin to make a very typical bend. Like such. Like that. A little curve. Keep going with it. Just keep going with the bend. Essentially making a little hook like that. Like this. This is looking good. That ratio of tight to wider curve right there. So yeah, you make a curve like this with the point almost facing the bar itself. I probably could go even further with this, but I'm going to see what happens when I bevel this. I'm not entirely sure what happens with the size of stock this is. This is a lot thicker than the one I had before, so this is more of an experiment to see kind of what would happen if it was bigger. So back to this angle. You want to see me bevel on the actual edge of the anvil itself. I'll be using a combination of the edges. You can see there, I'm beginning to start that bevel edge. I'm just hammering the edge down so the edge becomes thinner. Bevel's getting even larger, and you can see it really does start to curve on itself there, quite aggressively. Maybe that's too much, but regardless, it's probably going to be fine. It'll probably keep to that same ratio. I'm going to do one more refining heat just to get that bevel edge. You see it right there shining in the light a little bit? You can see sort of the line in the middle of that bar. So yeah, I'll show you up close. We've beveled the edge down where now the edge is now thinner than the bar stock. I like to forge it at quite a dull temperature, as you can see, because it gets a really nice fine line. The actual space where it transitions from the bevel to the actual stock of the bar is really nice and sharp, which I think it really adds to that. So yeah, here we go. Next step is to actually create the scroll, because believe it or not, that's not actually the scroll. What actually generates the scroll is the bevel line itself is a lower mass than the high mass. So when you begin to curve the bar one axis, that actually begins to curve with the axis. It's really difficult to explain, but I will show you. And here we go. So I'm creating the curve on this side of the bar, just to get it started. So I'm hammering on the scroll now. I hit the camera. We're creating the scroll on this axis, as you can see. And that begins to curve it round eventually. You'll see. It's slowly starting to, this is like the in-between stage, as you can see. It's actually an angle now. So the angle of the bar that you have here, so it goes from straight angle, it begins to curve down like it's a bevel. That edge that you're now creating transitions into the bevel itself of this section here. So it creates a really nice, smooth, gradual turn. Here it is again. You work your way on this axis all the way around. And you do smooth motions. To get as even as possible. Never hit in the same place twice. And would you look at that? It's almost there. It's not quite done yet, still needs some more, but I'm sure you're starting to see the shape form. This bar goes around and curves into the bevel. Yes, just keep going with this technique and eventually you should get the bevel scroll. I'm going to hammer the that thing a little down just so it's a bit more in line. I will just stick this in the vise real quick just to quickly turn over a little bit, because I'm not entirely happy with the angle between the bevel. So if I stick it in the vise, this will work. Just going to stick the bar itself in the vise. And just grab it and just turn it. Turn it down like that. That should be good enough. Just to have it kind of parallel with the bar, just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Right. It wasn't much, it was just something I wasn't quite wanting to do by hand. And there we have it. That's how you make a bevel scroll. That smooth transition there, you see that? It goes from one axis to another axis. Right. So that's how you make a beveled scroll. I really love making these. I actually think it will be like my main type of scroll that I make. I think it looks complicated, but as I just showed, it's not that complicated in terms of actual understanding the theory. It's more that the material just, you have to sort of trust the material to move on its own. You're applying the force to it, but the actual steel moves in a way that you don't quite actually hit. You know, it's the difference between the beveled structure and the not beveled structure that actually makes the steel not only curve to an extent, but also change axis. So, yes, no, I liked how it came out. There's a few things I would have changed differently about it. I certainly would have beveled it slightly further, in my opinion. I think if I just had the bevel slightly further down, maybe down to about there, it would have looked a bit more even. So I'm trying to get that kind of gradual flow from the stock material and the actual beveled and curved material. But yeah, no, I really like these, and I just find them really satisfying to make. So expect to see a lot of these kind of scrolls in my future work for sure. All the other types of scrolls, so you have you know, ribbon scrolls, you have penny end scrolls, you've even got the little turnover leaf scrolls and everything. And I'm sure I'll probably stick some pictures of them up on screen. But no, the beveled scroll, it looks simple, but yet it's just got this really satisfying mass area at the front there. So yes. Son of a bitch. Oh, I just kneeled on a bit of fucking. Oh, I just kneeled on a really sharp bit of coke on the ground. You should be kneeling in a workshop. Don't do this. It's not nice. Use your feet. I'll have to get low for the camera, because if you guys didn't know, I am 6'6", very, very tall. Too tall for the frame of the camera half the time, so I have to kneel down. This is the only anvil in the room actually that is tall enough for my forging to be effective, because an anvil certainly does need to be the right height before you start forging. So yes, here's a close-up view of the thing, right there. And I really like how in different lights it shines in a very particular manner, because of all the different angles that you see. Here's the back of it. So as you can see, it's only a scroll that can really be viewed from the front, but it's usually fine from the back. So yes, that's my hammer gone. But yes, no, thank you very, very much for watching, and I know it's been a massive change in the channel, but expect to have more content from me very soon. And once again, to reiterate from the beginning, I'm really thankful for all the support, all the new and old support I have received on this channel. Also remember to follow my Twitter. That's where I'm mostly active, so if you want to keep up to date. I've also got a Discord channel as well if you want to have a chat with me about how to do these kind of things. I'm actually pretty active on there, so if you want to have a chat, just hit me up. So thank you very much, and goodbye.